How's it going, IO? In this video we're going to talk about Jeffree Star attacking Hailey Bieber, Ben Affleck trashing the Justice League movie, and Diplo's bizarre admission about his sexuality. First up, it looks like yet another celebrity has turned on Hailey Bieber, but this time it's more about her skincare brand than anything else. Beauty guru Jeffree Star has come through with a vicious review of Road Skin, where he basically trashes one of the PR packages that was sent to him. In the TikTok video, he starts off by calling the packaging boring, before opening up the box to find a picture of Hailey posing with her products. Right away he attacks her appearance and makes fun of her blank facial expression. Jeffree says she literally looks like she wants to die. He also claims the whole reason she thought she could make a skincare brand is because she's privileged, uses daddy's money, and has never worked a day in her life. The irony is that he said all of this before he even looked at the products. So where is the actual review? Well, it never actually happens. Instead, Jeffree just looks into the camera and says, "In this house we are Team Selena, and we are team not bullying anyone." He then decides to throw the products into the trash can, making it clear that he is not even going to bother trying them. Like I said, this video was pretty brutal. It was eventually taken down by TikTok because of the complaints, and at the moment it's still under review. The thing is, Jeffree did not actually want to take a look at the skincare line. It was pretty obvious he was just using it as an opportunity to dunk on Hailey Bieber, so it's no wonder that people were straight up not having it. Someone reported the video on Twitter and wrote, "Does everyone on Team Selena not realize that they're the only ones being the actual mean girls at this point? Like, if Jeffree Star is agreeing with y'all, just know you're wrong as hell." Another person wrote, "Jeffree Star attacking Hailey is actually funny, because he's known to be a racist and a generally horrible mean person, but of course people are going to support him. The hypocrisy is crazy." There were also other comments like, "Imagine having Jeffree Star on your side," and "Oh, you're definitely on the wrong." And the irony of him using a word like bully. If you didn't know, he's been in the influencing game for years now. He's almost 16 million subscribers on YouTube after being on the platform for 12 years. But he's also brought scandal after scandal to the beauty community. There have been incriminating old photos of him that have come out and evidence of him using racist language. He's also been accused of manipulating other creators and people close to him for his benefit. The scandal eventually reached a point where he could no longer maintain his various endorsement deals. Yes, he was already a multimillionaire, but it really hurt his finances when he was dropped by Morphe. In the years since the fallout, he's slowly started to make a comeback online. And that's why people are so outraged about this new video. After all, does he really care about what's going on with Selena and Hailey, or is it just an excuse to try and win back some of his fans? We also have to face the reality that celebrities are human beings too. If Hailey was just a regular person, we might be quicker to call it what it is, which is bullying. Last week, Justin did a surprise performance with Don Toliver at the Rolling Loud Music Festival in California. A video from that moment was then posted on Twitter, which showed the crowd chanting "F Hailey Bieber." As the voices get louder, he could be heard saying, "Everybody take a step back, please." People have been mocking Hailey for the fact that she also lost around 800,000 followers on Instagram and more than 300,000 on TikTok since the drama started. In late February, she had around 50.7 million followers, and she now has around 49.3. To put the whole thing into perspective, the hashtag Team Selena has more than 1.4 billion views, while Team Hailey has just 188 million. So that definitely says a lot about whose side fans are on, even though Selena herself has urged her followers to put the brakes on all the hate. In a recent TikTok video, she said, "Please be kinder and consider others' mental health. My heart has been heavy and I only want good for everyone." But as of now, the drama still shows no signs of slowing down. Moving on, there is a reason everyone's talking about Ben Affleck's latest interview with The Hollywood Reporter. In it, he dropped quite a few bombs. Ben said that his experience shooting Justice League was so horrible that he bailed on directing Batman, but people were surprised at just how much he hated it. He said, "Justice League, you could teach a seminar on all the reasons why this is how not to do it, ranging from production to bad decisions to horrible personal tragedy, and just ending with the most monstrous taste in my mouth. That was the worst experience I've ever seen in a business which is full of some crappy experiences." What he's talking about is the absolute chaos that came with Joss Whedon, who made 2017's Justice League a critical and commercial bomb. It was so bad that it actually ruined his career, but by the time the Zack Snyder version came out in 2021, the damage was already done. Ben's time on set caused him to start drinking again, and things got very bad very quickly. He said, "I was back at the hotel in London. It was either that or jump out the window, and I just thought, this isn't the life I want. My kids aren't here, I'm miserable." In the end, he ultimately decided that something in his life needed to change, and he was done with the character altogether. What's really interesting is how he describes shooting Batman. Apparently, most of the time he was just wearing a rubber suit standing against a computer screen. He said he felt sweaty and exhausted, and it got to the point where he thought, "I don't want to participate in this in any way, and I don't want to squander more of my life. Wow, so clearly he had a lot of things that he wanted to get off his chest. Apart from that, Ben also reflected on the backlash that he faced after it seemed like he was blaming his struggles with alcoholism on Jennifer Garner. In December of 2021, you might remember that he told Howard Stern that he felt trapped during his marriage, and that was part of the reason why he wanted to start drinking again. When you look at his choice of words, it's easy to see why people thought he was attacking her. He said, "We had a marriage that didn't work. What I did was I drank a bottle of scotch and fell asleep on the couch, which turned out not to be the solution." If you didn't know, the two of them were married from 2005 to 2018, which is a pretty long marriage by Hollywood standards. But just like any other relationship, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. At the time, Ben said that they'd made the right decision ending their marriage because they would probably be at each other's throats and he'd probably still be drinking. He's now had to clarify those remarks and said that they were taken out of context. He said, "What I was trying to say was, hey look, I was drinking too much, and the less happy you become, whether it's your job, your marriage, it's just that as your life becomes more difficult, if you're doing things to fill a hole that aren't healthy, you're going to start doing more of those things." Ben insisted that his behavior is his own responsibility entirely, and said that he thought he was being pretty articulate about this until he saw the reaction on Twitter, and there's no way to sugarcoat it, it was pretty bad. Stella Pardon wrote, "Is it me, or is Ben Affleck a total cad or what? After all his struggles, his ex-wife Jennifer Garner, the mother of his 3 children, supported him for years through it, and then he gets on Howard Stern and blames her for his drinking. Excuse me, grow the F up, Ben." The actor went on to explain how the internet turned on him and made him out to be the worst, most insensitive, stupid, awful guy. He said it was a very painful experience, and it's part of the reason he now has anxiety about interviews and going on social media. After everything he's been through, he's actually become very guarded around what he chooses to say and where he chooses to say it. Ben called these platforms landmines, where if you say one wrong thing, your career might be over. He's not wrong, of course, but it sounds like he's almost become traumatized after what happened from the Howard Stern interview. One person that helps him get through this is his wife Jennifer Lopez. Ben said that she's now become a source of support and encouragement for him before public appearances. J-Lo is clearly a pro because she tells him to relax, be himself, and just have fun. Ben talked about taking her advice and said, "She's really right and she loves me. She's looking out for me. She's trying to help me. So it's like, maybe I ought to effing listen to her." Well, yeah, that would be a good idea. If anyone knows how to handle life in the spotlight, it's definitely J-Lo. And moving on, why is everyone talking about Diplo's sexuality? It's because of something absolutely insane that he said on a podcast. The music producer and DJ opened up about his experience with men in a recent interview with Emily Ratajkowski, where he admitted that he had a guy go down on him before, but he didn't think that makes him gay. He said, and I quote, "I'm sure I've gotten a BJ from a guy before, for sure, but I don't know if it's gay unless you make eye contact while it's happening." And yes, he really said that. In response, Emily said, "That is such a straight guy thing to say," which is so true, but it really makes you wonder, what does he mean about the whole no eye contact thing? Is that a thing? Apparently, yes it is. Maybe the logic there is that if you can't see it happening, it's not actually happening. Diplo then tried to defend himself and said, "Getting a BJ is not that gay, I think," which made it sound like he was still a little bit unsure. Later on in the interview, he explains that while he definitely does not identify as gay, that isn't to say that he doesn't look at men as potential romantic prospects. He described himself as someone who is more attracted to someone's vibe rather than their gender. And I mean, that's fair enough, and from the way he's describing things, it sounds like he might actually be pansexual, which is when you're attracted to people regardless of their sex or gender. But hey, it's really up to him how he identifies. Diplo then insisted that he doesn't get aroused by men that much. He said that he likes to see photos of hot guys on social media, but he doesn't think that's enough to make him bat for the other team. Of course, when clips of this interview started circulating online, it wasn't long before people started talking about his comments, specifically the one about not making eye contact. Someone posted a meme of Adele at an NBA game trying to avoid looking directly into the camera with the caption, "Diplo while getting head from a guy." But aside from all the jokes, it seems like more than anything, people were debating about his sexuality. One user wrote, "At most, Diplo could exist on the bi spectrum, with a much stronger lean towards women. You could call this bi-curiosity. If you're straight identified but bi-curious, you should still be able to identify as straight publicly. Same with gay people who are bi-curious." Another user wrote, "People saying he's gay are hilarious, because if he's so sexually and personally secure to share this, then why would he have any trouble saying that he's gay? People that say this is gay are clearly unevolved." Interestingly enough, there were even some people who accused him of queerbaiting, which is the idea that some celebrities pretend to be queer in order to try and appeal to an LGBTQ audience. But in this case, it doesn't seem like that's what's actually happening. Back in 2016, 2016, Diplo tweeted that he was half gay, and when someone questioned his sexuality, he simply replied saying, "Masculinity is a prison." 3 years later, he posted something similar while he was on the brink of disaster. His plane had to make an emergency landing because of a heavily cracked windshield, so while the pilots were putting on their oxygen masks, Diplo connected to the plane's Wi-Fi. He wanted to send one last message to his followers on Instagram. He wrote, "Dear Columbus and Minneapolis, my jet window just cracked open and the pilots are wearing masks, so I'm not sure I'll make it to my show tonight. Also, I never told you this, but I might be gay." Then, after the danger finally passed, he posted an update saying, "We landed and no one died. I still might be gay, but I'm definitely not going to fly any more jets." And even if he doesn't identify that way anymore, you can't really say that he hasn't been open about his sexuality. So what do you guys think about this latest story? Please let me know in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next video.